Okay. Welcome to Rogue Planet. We will start in just a few moments. Mwaha! Mwahaha! Mwaha! Mwahaha!
Like,
That is my vampire voice. You like?
it's perfect.
Okay. Thank you for humoring me. That's sweet of you.
I gotta be sweet sometimes. I can't be a bitch always. Oh, as we're like not even a minute in. I'm
As
so
we are
sorry.
live, but it's all good. It's all people understand that Rogue
We'll
Planet
bleep
gets a
that.
little wild.
Bleep.
But guys, we will be with you in just a few minutes. Me and Lainey are going to proliferate the hold a link.
It's so weird to be here on a Wednesday.
Isn't that bizarre?
It is
We're,
bizarre, but
we're,
I
we're gonna
like
get
it.
it. Isn't that cool? Pretty badass over here on Wednesday.
I know when
Well,
I'm actually not working, which is even more amazing.
that's good stuff.
Uh, you know, finally, I'm getting time to myself and my friends.
Are you laughing at me?
No, I think I'm getting sick.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I'm not. I feel like I'm always sick though.
Well,
So
you know how I had to get tea before we went on. I too am going kind of like through that. So I don't
is
know
this
what
your
I'm having.
fault?
It's no, how is it when I gave you a disease through the wires?
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
I am known as contagious, but
You are very
I'm a
contagious.
contagious, disgusting animal. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I guess it's just the season, right?
Yeah. It is the season. I think that honestly my allergies have been so bad this whole year.
I think it is. I think the storm. I think the storm. This is just total nonsense. It should probably be on Mothership Monday, but I think the storm is moving the winds and it's bringing pollen our way, and that this is not actual illness. Because all I'm getting is like the post nasal drip stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think I'm an idiot right now? Don't you?
No, no, I actually don't. No, I think that is it's a big possibility. Um Completely. Storms do funky things, man, and I don't know, we're supposed to get hit, so we shall see.
We need to pray for those poor Floridians.
Yo, for real. Oh my god, so sad.
Yeah.
Um they're getting knocked, and I actually have friends and family down there, so like we've
Oh
been
yeah, same.
yeah.
Absolutely same.
And then my dad was thinking about actually going down to help with like the relief of things, and I'm like, I'll go. I'm totally down for that.
No, don't go on your own though. Go only with an organization that knows how to help. Because
No,
you
well,
don't want
my
to get
dad.
down there and just be in the way.
No, you don't understand. So my father is a former waterworks person. Like he literally knows how to turn water into like potable, drinkable water.
Hmm.
So he knows what he's doing like really well, and he actually went down for Katrina and helped in Louisiana.
Oh, that's cool. So are you going with them?
Mm-hmm. I might. I'm thinking about it. If he goes, my mom doesn't want him to.
No, I have to ask. Are you just saying you're going so you sound cool in front of our fans?
Well, I didn't say I'm going. I said I might go. That I would like to go. It also does matter if I can take time off of work to go. Because I'm a boss now, so I still laugh when I say that out loud.
Well, I mean, it does sound. I feel like I don't know. I'm not gonna get involved, but you're like, I'm a boss now, bitches.
And that's
You're calling
exactly
yourself a
why
girl
I
boss.
don't. Well, I mean, you started that, sir.
Oh wait! Guess what's happening?
What's happening?
Our theme song is happening. Mayday! Come in! If anyone can hear me, my starship has been pulled into the anomaly. I find myself in a strange new world. It is a world with no sun, no stars. It is a world of anime. Comics. Here we go! Gaming. Movie. This world is the Rogue Planets. With your host, the Fat Mantis HD. Welcome into Rogue Planet. I am your host, the Fat Mantis, and I am here with my wonderful, amazing co-host,
Lainey O.
Lainey O. How would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe the people out here don't know who you are.
I mean, you didn't even give me a chance to introduce myself, so there's that.
I see it's going to be one of those nights.
It might be one of those nights. Hi, guys.
Mantis, hail to the Mantis. Hail to Lainey. Hello,
Hi,
my
Matt.
man. Hello to you, Mad Cat. Hello, Hannah Banana HD. Together twice in 1 week, yes. So for those of you who don't know her, the lovely Lainey is actually my co-host. We share a show called Mothership Mondays.
We do indeed.
Where we both basically have a lot of mental health issues, and we just talk about it on the show. Like I'm like, the alien has told me this and that. But today we're going to talk about entertainment on Rogue Planet. That's Rogue Planet's bread and butter. Of course, you were here on Rogue Planet, and that is your premier nerdcore news, information, and review show. We talk about all the cool things happening this week in nerddom, and of course, the major thing is Dahmer.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this tonight. Hi,
Loki, what up, my friend? What up, man? And of course, it's just a reminder for everyone out there to like, share, and subscribe to Voice of the Fat Mantis. Always tune in on Wednesdays to my 8:15-ish Eastern Standard Time live stream of Rogue Planet, where we discuss all the nerd news that's fit to print.
I love it when you say ish, because it is always ish.
That's the world of a streamer. And honestly, if you actually watch these really truly successful streamers, such as people on Twitch, people on YouTube, certain YouTubers, they go live, they are never on time. They are literally never on time. Tell me when Geeks and Gamer is ever on time. And that's
I'm
cool.
not going to admit that I don't watch Geeks and Gamers, but I do feel like I have to start. So,
Oh, yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. It's a channel that's definitely worth it. There's, I can recommend a lot of YouTubers because that's.
Yeah, well, listen, you're already recommending too many TV shows and movies for me, so let's keep it to a down low. I want to start reading again, okay?
Right, because you're a person who has a job. You actually have other things to do than to watch TV like me.
I do indeed. Unfortunately, have a job. Who is?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but Logie Rare says excited for tonight. Who else is horny for Dahmer? I know I am.
Okay.
He eats well. He does eat good.
He does eat well.
Rogue Radio, welcome to the stream.
Hello, Rogue.
Okay, so you saw all of Dahmer, right?
I did indeed. And I was intrigued the moment I put it on my television.
So, are you intrigued because this is a Ryan Murphy production who is a very has a good quality producer, or because Evan Peters the star is very attractive?
Well, you already know. I guess maybe not everybody knows. I do have a thing for Evan Peters. He is one of my favorite actors.
I think America does.
I do too. Like, honestly, I think that this is going to be his blow up. What am I trying to say? Role. Thank you. There it is.
Right.
There's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
The words are in my mouth. But yeah, I think that this, I don't think that he ever got the recognition that he completely deserved. And I think that this is going to be the role where it's like he's finally on the map as one of the starlets.
This is a fascinating place to start. And so I'm glad that you brought this up. So here's what it is. Pretty much, to my belief, in television production, the highest paid producer in television is Ryan Murphy.
Okay.
Ryan Murphy does American Horror Story, American Horror Stories, but he does a lot of other things, such as American Crime Story. He does Feud. He does Pose. He does a lot of these limited series like Politician or Feud, or like all these other things. And he's producing them, and he's won all these awards. He's critically acclaimed and all these things. He's the highest paid. He gets all these ratings, and for some reason, there is a large contingent of people who will swear that he sucks. Ryan Murphy as a producer.
I don't see how you can say that. I think that I think COVID may have dampened his shine for me a little bit. And that wasn't his fault. We talked a little bit about this too. American Horror Story kind of took a back burner the last season because it was like they split it into two stories basically. And the first half of the story was phenomenal. And I was super into it. And I was so excited for a full series. And then they ruined it with this alien garbage.
the alien. And that was COVID. That was absolutely COVID. I blame COVID.
It was. And I think that, he's trying to bring it back. And unfortunately, American Horror Stories doesn't seem to be doing as well as I think a lot of us want it to. I have yet to watch it. I actually started the first season of it. I wasn't so into it, I think, because it was a connection into the American Horror Story. And it was like, I want to see something new. I want to see something different. I don't want to see the murder house. I want new.
The fact that Story started with Murder House was really upsetting. I just didn't want to see that. It was a bad rendition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm on his Wikipedia page right now, and I see other things that he's done. He does 911. He does.
Does he?
Yeah, he does 911. He does 911 Lone Star. He did Ratchet. How could I forget? He did Screen Queens. He did Glee. He did Nip Tuck,
which is phenomenal. Phenomenal TV. Nip Tuck was like garbage TV that sucked you in.
All right.
I was obsessed with Nip Tuck.
Right. And so ultimately, I think that he's amazing. I love his work, but not everyone will claim to it. And I think what it is that sometimes he is total schlock.
Yeah.
Like he's total camp. It's like Glee. Take the worst episode of Glee, and I think that's what people are scared of, or the worst episode of any American Horror Story. Because as an anthology, obviously American Horror Story isn't always good, right? There's sometimes some really bad stuff in it.
No, and I think that unfortunately everybody remembers the crap. It's like going into work and then calling out the next day, and like you're the hardest worker in the entire world, and you bend over backwards for your employer. But that one day you miss is the one day that sets the tone for your entire career.
And so Matt, for instance, Matt is saying that he's saying Ryan Murphy isn't worth the money. Most of his stuff is crap. Logie Bear says he should stick to producing. He's a weak writer. Okay. Matt says, isn't that how all this stuff is, Lainey? All this stuff starts off strong and ends terribly every time except American Horror Story Season 1. I would say he's horrible at endings.
He's really bad at endings, and I think that that's because his stories never really do end. I think that they're meant to keep going. So is it sucky endings, or is it just it's a cliffhanger that we all hate cliffhangers, but they're all intertwined in some way. Hi, Angel.
Hello, Angel Age. How are you? Welcome to the stream.
Like I thought Ratchet actually was a great series.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping there are things that I think were done badly, but I think it'll improve, because actually that was the first time they let Sarah Paulson take the reins. So right in that, Ryan Murphy was executive producer, but she actually got to produce. So she was the hands-on producer.
Right.
And I think that it was because she was new to that role. I think that she just didn't have it. But ultimately, I would argue that Ryan Murphy and Evan Peters are quality Hollywood personas.
No, absolutely. I would have to agree. I think that Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters are probably the saving grace of American Horror Stories and everything that happens in his career.
What up, Belle? No, I'm not avoiding you.
Hi, Belle.
I can explain this, Bellboy. See, Bellboy is he's come to school in New York.
Yeah, I know. That's so exciting.
And this is the thing, and this is the thing, that for some reason my Discord says I'm online all the time. Uh-huh. So I'll come home and I'll see Bell has called, and I'm like, I missed his call. And I was like, why was he calling? I wasn't online. But the computer is telling him I'm online.
Your computer does some funky stuff.
I honestly, I think people live in my basement, and then when I'm asleep, they go on the computer at night. Send crazy things to you people. Logie says, I feel like he has a general idea of a story beginning, starts writing without having a clue where it's going. I think most writers do that, actually. I think that's right. I wouldn't miss it. I'm big on crimes and all that stuff. Yeah, I got to say that, like, I'm a huge fan of American Crime Story. Like, I think those first 2 seasons were just amazing.
I haven't watched it. I'm not gonna lie. I have not watched it. I feel like there's just so much television. You can't watch it all. Evan Peters is the man. Yes, I'm crushing hard on Evan Peters. And honestly, I've been crushing hard on Evan Peters since American Horror Story. Sarah Paulson is a queen, 100%. They are the epitome. When I think of American Horror Stories, I'm thinking, or Star Story.
So I would say Sarah Paulson's best performance, in my opinion, is Marcia Clark in the first season of American Crime Story.
Yeah.
And if you want to see hear her, you check that out.
All right, I'll check it out. It's on the list. I'm gonna write it down. It'll go on the list.
Okay, the long list. Hello, Elise Luna. Good morning.
Hello. Is it morning? God, I wish it was morning.
I didn't know. Is it Elise Luna? Are you British? Is that what's happening? What's going on?
Very possible.
I gave you my phone number, dog. I'll hit you up, Belle. I'm sorry about that. Was sleeping so deep I woke up hungry, or hangry, really.
Hangry. My personal favorite is a podcast on Spotify called Today in True Crime. I love some true crime. I do. So
Incognito Burrito, what up? Holler at your boy. Thank you for stopping into the stream. It's my morning, says Elise. I work nights. Okay,
there we go.
That's making a little more sense to me. Hello. So we understand who Ryan Murphy is, the creator of this, and he is for a man who wrote Glee. He also really likes his horror. He likes horrific, tacky
dark
things.
Man.
He's a dark dude. And so this is one of our most notorious serial killers in American history. I know everyone could argue who's the most notorious. This one brought a lot of controversy because Dahmer was arrested in 91. Which is late. As a matter of fact, Dahmer, he started during the golden age of serial killers, but his spree was late in the game. So he was caught in the 90s. And most of these guys were not. They were caught either in the 80s or the 70s. And so not a lot of his victims, but the families of his victims are still alive. And so they have a problem with this series.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you're taking something that is from a true story, and he fantasized it, of course, a little bit. Like, you're not going to make it completely true to him. I can understand why the families would be upset, but at the same time, I think that they depicted him really well. It's not like they romanticized Dahmer. Okay, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little it.
Well, the series goes into that, right? Because
They
sometimes
do.
serial killers are beloved for the crazy things they do. They have women writing them in prison, which is crazy.
I mean, yeah, I think that unfortunately women like that dark streak in men.
I mean, that's kind of dark. Eating people is kind of dark.
That's super dark. I didn't that blew my mind. I know, of course, the story of Dahmer, but you know, I was like 4 years old when he was arrested.
Right.
You know, wow.
But I'm saying, is that what I have to do to get some? I should start killing people and eating them.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to get caught. That's the only issue. You got to go to jail.
Right, right. But you know,
Yeah.
Ted Bundy got married to a groupie in prison, right? Didn't what's his face? Charles Manson did as well. Charles Manson married a woman who was way younger than him.
Correct.
And Ted Bundy was just trying to make his fiance jealous by marrying another woman.
Correct.
Because she narked on him.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, I'd probably, if I found out that my fiance or, you know, the person that I loved was a serial killer, I'd probably knock him out. I'm not gonna lie.
That I mean, yeah. Well, we shouldn't go too much into Bundy, but yeah, that is pretty crazy that this woman was living and engaged to be married to a serial killer, and she was the one who narked on him, and that must have been rough, rough for that poor woman. You can't find a decent man these days.
No, you can't, guys. No, you can't.
So Incognito Burrito says, what's crazy is all the major killers share 4 zodiac signs: Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sag.
Gemini makes sense to me.
Virgo honestly, and Sag definitely makes sense.
For sure. Honestly, I think all 4 of them do. Pisces, like people say that Cancers are the most emotional sign. Nah, man, it's Pisces for sure.
Well, Cancers will make you think they're going to kill you, but they won't. They'll just have an outburst. Oh, wait, you're a Cancer. Oh, my bad.
I will never kill anybody, but yeah, you're damn straight. I will. Yeah, I'll make you afraid if I have to.
Grace says the women you would attract are not worth the life imprisonment.
Truth.
It's insane, but statistically, there are so many women that love a bad boy. Yes.
It's true. I have a bad boy who has a soft spot.
Well, that's the thing. That's what it is. All these women are convinced. They're like, he's a brutal, evil psychopath, but deep down inside, there's good in him. I know it. I know where his.
Right, and I think that's the other issue with women is that we're fixers. We want to fix people. So it's like, oh, I can fix him. I can take him away from his Satanism and you know, make him a good person. Nah, brah, you can't. He's gonna end up eating you too.
Yeah, so Loki Bear says, you'd narc? Lame. Whatever happened to for better or worse?
I mean, unless I'm like indulging in the murders with said partner, which I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I
hesitantly. That was hesitation. Didn't you guys all see that? That was super hesitation.
I mean, listen, don't piss me off. You already said that you could see me. I'm a Cancer, though, guys. Like, I don't think that there is any serial killers that have been Cancer. Yeah. But anyway,
Bundy was a Sag. My only issue with most serial killers is obviously their lack of morals, but also they generally aren't that hot. Yeah, that's what they're saying. A lot of people were saying that Ted Bundy was like the hot serial killer. When I see pictures of him, like, no.
Honestly, I think that Dahmer was a very good-looking man.
I think they might have been 70s hot or something.
They were 70s hot for sure. You're correct there on Dahmer. Dahmer was honestly, I felt sympathy for Dahmer in this series. Like I was completely, I was sympathetic towards his character.
Wait, hold on, real quick before you do that. Address the first question because I think we kind of strayed a little. I just want to know what your thoughts on the idea that victims' family members are saying, shame on you, Netflix, for making money off of this story. What is your thoughts in general on this?
I think that Netflix did a wonderful job, and I think that we should be diving into the lives of our serial killers because, one, it is hella entertaining. Two, we are getting to know their psyche a little bit, even though it is fantasized and it is, you know, it's not completely real. No, I think that the families are wrong. I think that they made their money when they with what they could. I feel for them. I do feel for them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's terrible what happened, of course, and it's sad, but it did happen 30 years ago. And I think that if it had happened, if this show was 10 years after, I'd be like, nah, man, Netflix, you're doing it wrong. But 30 years, yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we have the right to know. I think especially things like murder and crazy true crime, this is public knowledge.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry that anyone went through any trauma and it's really messed up, and I feel for you. But actually I would even argue that I think this, although is a horror show, is done pretty respectfully.
Absolutely. I think that the most gruesome part was, well, we'll get into that too. We're spoiling, right? Like,
We'll let everyone know when we're going to move into spoiler territory. So right now, I
okay.
just want to see. I want to see all the, because there's a lot of hubbub about this show.
Right. Well, I think that there was one scene that was more horrific than the rest. And most of it, though, it was very subtly done. Like, you weren't getting like blood, guts, and gore in this show. It was tactful. It was respectful, I thought.
Gray says Ted Bundy looked like an in real life version of Bert from Sesame Street. Incognito says Bundy's unibrow made him a killer.
There you go.
Totally. Elise Luna says Mantis would be a hot serial killer, though. Thank you. If I ever turn that way, I will let you know. I'll write you and be like,
I think that maybe in your basement you do. No, I'm just kidding.
you know what would bother me about being a serial killer? All the work. Like getting rid of a body, like even Dahmer, so for those of you who don't know, obviously, I think you know, spoiler alert, Dahmer's a cannibal. And he's cutting bodies up and he's trying to dissolve the parts that he doesn't want to eat in a vat of acid. And he's cutting their bodies up. And I'm just like, that is so much work for dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know?
Yeah. Which was also fascinating to me too, is that how he went from just like killing these men to eating them. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like, it went from 0 to 100 real quick. And right. I'm sure that that's really how it happened in his life. So I don't know. Crazy. I would think the victim's family should be grateful, because even though the person who killed the victim's story could share to its part of the memory. Yeah, I kind of get that. Absolutely. It is kind of a memorial, you know, and it that one episode, episode 6. Guys, if you don't watch the entire series, watch episode 6. It was beautiful. It was a I cried like a little baby. The entire episode.
It would be extremely hard to watch a reenactment of your child's death. Okay, so I do agree with that, and I would absolutely agree with you that on Loki. But think about every true story that's ever told on television or anything. They reenact people's deaths all the time. They reenact 9/11. They reenact real war stories. These are things that go on. And so why are we singling out this as opposed to anything else? Right. And I actually think the show does a good job of not actually showing you anyone's death. You think you see their death, but you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
You never do. Yeah. You see them. You see them dead. But you
see them after.
Yeah, you definitely don't see them dying.
Hannah says, "Wow, 2 schmexy beasts." Thank you very much, Hannah. I don't mind that they're making money off of Dahmer. I do, however, think they should have gotten permission to film actors reenacting victims' family members in court, that they were using their words and dressed like them. It's a reenactment, though. How is this any different than, say, what was that show that I used to watch a lot of these like true crime stuff when I was a kid. Like, you know, what is the one with the dude with the trench coat? They tried to remake it on Netflix, but they don't have the dude with the trench coat, so it sucked. Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh,
that's a reenactment show. All these shows are reenactments, and I'm just saying they did actually, you know, when they did the courtroom victims, actually reenacting like them getting mad at Dahmer and the speeches they said. It's all from court records. That's actually the things they said.
Okay.
And down to the way they dressed, they made them really look like it. As a matter of fact, even the apartment that he was in, the set designer studied his apartment, and that's exactly the layout of his apartment.
That's crazy to me. That really is crazy to me.
I respect the detail.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Logie wants to dip. I understand. I guess we're going to get into spoilers now. Apologies if you felt like we've spoiled anything right now.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Listen, guys, watch it.
Yeah, and so Angeline says Dahmer is also gay. Hey, Logie, if you have to take off, I dig it. I understand. So, okay, so I mean, I think that's one of the things that the LGBT community is upset about with the labeling it on Netflix, right?
But here's the thing: he was gay. Like it's not like they were trying to label it as an LGBTQ plus AI whatever story. It's facts. The man was a gay serial killer who did tend to
right. He preyed on men.
Well, he preyed on men, and he did tend to prey on Black and Latino men.
Right.
So like that's like, I don't know. You can't be upset about truth. It's not like it's a fake story. This isn't fiction. It's right.
I agree with that on that, but I want to give an example, and so I'm gonna talk about, like, this is all philosophical, and I just want to have this conversation. So I'll give you an example. If someone was a pedo, right? Am I allowed to use that word on Netflix or on YouTube? I'm not sure.
But I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we?
If someone was a pedo and they hurt a child, we wouldn't think of them as gay. We would call them a pedo, right? And so I think that his psychology may have leaned toward men, but I think that the gay community doesn't like that word being associated with him, because it wasn't just that he wanted to be with men, he wanted to cut them up and eat them. And that's like different. That's like a different phenomenon. I think is what the argument is being made.
I guess. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay.
Logie says, I feel like getting rid of the body would be the fun part. Oh God, no. That's all labor intensive. Who wants that?
Yeah. I mean, anyway. I'm not gonna make myself sound like somebody who would want to kill people.
Yeah. Incognito, my whole theory about the purge and stuff. I think that people secretly want to purge their neighbors.
Oh yeah.
So 100%. I think we all have it.
I think that we all have some sort of animalistic want to kill people.
Incognito says, when Dahmer was beaten to death in prison, his killer says he didn't make a single sound. We love cannibals.
I mean, Hannah, I think you are one, so it's okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hannah had bodies down in her basement. No offense, Hannah.
Okay, but does she have body that she killed, or is she just, is she digging up graves?
Oh, like an Ed Gaines, Ed Gaines thing. That's fascinating.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude just like spaghetti.
Oh,
it's like a great steak. The cut matters. Oh wow. I see a lot of you have thought about the cannibal lifestyle. I'll be honest, my neighbor across from me scares the shit out of me and gives me Dahmer vibes. So this is another thing that the show has done to me. I don't want to drink with strangers anymore. I don't want to go into anybody's house, even if they're like a friendly neighbor and they're like, "Can you help me with this furniture?" I'd be like, "Sorry."
I mean, I've always had the terror, there's always been the fear of going out and, getting your drink spiked and things like that. And I think that this was a really good learning experience for a lot of people, was watching how he would spike the drinks. And you're just sitting there like, oh, I will never, ever, ever let somebody buy me a drink ever again unless I am sitting right there next to them and watching and me grabbing the drink.
Right.
No, never. I think that was the scariest thing for sure. He stares at my window, face full. Oh my gosh.
Yo, Incognito, that is horrible. And so this show definitely makes you fear your neighbor. Because now if I hear weird noises from my neighbor's house, I am now going to call the police. And the amount of times that in this series that people hear weird things and they just like, oh, they're like, they call the cops and the cops are like, they're like, I heard a scream. And they're like, do you hear more screaming? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, it was nothing.
Well, I also think that leads back into the time period too, is that, this was it was a racially charged time and a racially charged show. It was like that you could feel the angst and like the fear of the community because they were just pushed aside and not listened to, and basically were told like nothing's happening, and he was getting away. It wasn't even that his charisma that I think he was getting away with it. It was because he was white.
Yes, he was white, and he lived in a primarily African American community, and he targeted African American gays. Like, that's a 2-for strike against from cops. Cops didn't want to deal with them. Certainly didn't want to look for them.
Right.
Even one of his victims in the series, they showed that the guy's saying, this guy's trying to kill me, and they didn't believe him.
They brought him back to the
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know if that's true, but the story they brought him back.
The Asian boy who was brought back, that is a very famous story about Dahmer, and it did absolutely happen. It is absolutely true.
And that's the saddest part. So yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that there were 2 14-year-olds at the very end when they're showing like the actual victims. I was like, appalling that it was one, but to have 2, it was just, the whole thing's appalling, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. So Elise Suna says Gray was faster. Yes, Gray calling the unsolved mystery thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget cold cases as well, of course. Yeah, think about all the missing people out there.
Yeah.
But Unsolved Mysteries is trying to help the criminals. This is purely entertainment for profit. So I think that this is both. It's definitely entertainment, but it's also informing us of something. And I think the idea that we don't have the right to tell a true story that affected a community, I feel is absurd in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I was thoroughly entertained, but I was also learning so very much from it. Swear to God, I'm about to watch the show now. Y'all got me all excited. Watch it. I highly recommend it. Spoil me. I won't be able to watch it for a hot minute.
Yeah. Gray says people are watching these victims' families on the worst days of their lives, and they weren't told about this or asked if they minded. I know they can do what they want, but I understand them being upset. Trust me. I'm just saying I don't have their back on this one. If I unfortunately was affected, I might be angry. I would definitely be butthurt. I wouldn't tune in, and I might, I just would avoid the topic, because this isn't the first Dahmer. There's been shows, documentaries. There's a million YouTube videos on the guy. People all over the place are profiting off of this.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that they're upset at this, but they're not upset at Jeremy Renner, the guy who plays Hawkeye in the Marvel movies, he was Dahmer in 2001. He played a thing of Dahmer. So, and that was only 10 years after.
Right.
So I think that I don't know what's going on. I think it's a example of like hypersensitivity nowadays. Because no one
I totally agree. Also,
families for these other productions.
No, they didn't. And now all of a sudden it's a stink. I mean, also like the comic book. Now that was horrible.
Right.
That was horrible.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely
horrible. That was weeks after he got arrested.
Right.
So like I think that this one was informative. It's like saying that Ted Bundy was just looking for love. I think that they're all looking for love, and I think that that's kind of where I was going with the sympathetic part. Are we there yet?
Yeah. So Logie Bears points out. He says when a straight serial killer murders people, we don't think all straight people. Yeah. Like I would say that I think that what we perceive their sexuality to be is not necessarily. I would argue that I wouldn't say he's gay. I would say he's some other thing that I don't understand.
Okay. Okay. So do you think that they shouldn't have said that he was a gay man? Like he was openly gay, and I think that he did fall in love with one of his victims. Now I don't know how true that story was, but it did seem like he fell in love with a man.
Yes. I mean they do that though.
Right, and I get that, but I just think that like I don't know.
Here's what I'm saying, and this
All
is
right.
horrible. And if anyone knows family or understands this stuff, I am sorry if this is gonna hurt your feelings or whatever. But I'm saying when you involve spousal murder, I would probably argue 99% of the time the spouse that murdered the other one probably did love the other one.
Yeah.
But they have a slew of other problems that set them off, and they end up killing someone they love.
Yeah.
And so I think it is possible to love someone and then serial kill them as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for instance, he had an impulse problem.
Oh, 100%.
And the mere fact that, like, so he was a day drinker, he drank all the time. He only had jobs that allowed him to, like, that he could sneak alcohol in, and he was just could not stop drinking all day long until he would pass out.
Right.
Like, from moment of waking and on. That's some sort of impulse problem. That is a brain deficiency right there. Right?
Totally.
It does not look like Lainey agrees with me.
No, I do. I totally agree with you. I'm just, there's noises in my house and I'm trying to not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So Hannah Banana says, I mean, it's easy to dispose of a body.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Dahmer kind of had it right. Those vats, that's not an abnormal thing for killers to use, are vats of acid.
How would you get rid of a body?
Me? I'd probably.
You're white, so it's got to be easier. I'm sorry I couldn't resist, guys.
Wow. I'd probably cut up the body and feed it to the pigs.
Yeah, feeding it to something sounds like fun. Yeah, there's kind of.
That sounds like fun. Oh my god!
As long as I don't have to do the work of chopping up limbs and stuff and breaking the bones.
I mean, also the fun. Okay, so this is fascinating too. Is that he was a butcher, so he was cutting those bodies up properly.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely knew what he was doing. I'm thinking. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, cement is something that here's what I'm saying. If you were to go to a construction shop and you were like, I need explosives, they take your name down, do background checks on you, and you'd have to have a license to be using explosives, right?
Correct.
But if I go to Home Depot and I'm like, I need a shitload of cement, no one would ever question it. I could pay in cash too, right?
You could.
So what is to stop someone from just digging a hole somewhere, throwing them in, filling it with cement, put some grass over it? I mean,
I am never. Okay, I'm never hanging out with you.
I'll tell you, I used to live out in Charlottesville, Virginia, and this was years ago. And back in the day, there was Charlottesville. While I lived there was a Charlottesville serial killer. There was a serial killer there, and what he would do is he would, assault the people, murder them, then take their bodies to a nearby farm. And this dude, the guy who owned the farm, is massive. Just drive up there. There's no one to stop him because the land is too big to patrol all the time. Just leave the body on a different farm each time. Because there's, you know what I'm saying? There's so much unpatrolled land. It's like,
but now we have Google. We have Google Earth, so we're all a little more protected now.
Well, that's why I would use the cement and put a little grass on top. We're good.
Oh my god.
Most wouldn't have thought it would have been a cannibal or narc. After seeing this series, I believe everyone is a cannibal and a narc.
Facts. Cannibals have good taste. I wouldn't know and I wouldn't want to.
Hannah Banana, how do they stop people from double burying people in caskets?
They don't.
So theoretically, I'm a mortician. I kill somebody. I can't just throw two bodies in a casket, close it.
Sure, you can. Why not?
So you never trust a mortician. Most psycho killers are not empathic. It's like they have no emotion. It supports both Logie Bear and my theory of them being changelings.
Yeah.
That's actually good.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe we didn't bring that up on Mothership Monday when we talked
Yeah,
about
because I didn't even think of that.
that.
Darn
Maybe they don't have human emotions because they're really changelings.
It's possible.
Ugh. Good
Now,
work.
now I'm good work. Good work. Now my brain is going. It's going. This is a
Matt
very
says this is a
expensive.
very expensive and artistic PSA. It is, man. It's yeah, you should definitely check it out. The zombified kid, yes, absolutely. And the cops helped take him back to the killer when he was bleeding from his butt. That's insanity. And actually, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's
No, I mean, well, we're gonna spoil a little bit.
we'll let everyone know when we're a little later on. We'll try
Okay,
to
that's
postpone.
fine. That's fine.
What's really appalling is
Go ahead. It's your show. This is your show, not mine.
what's really appalling is looking at the stove and looking inside the pot. What's in it? Yes. There's some shocking stuff going on. Ride to Fight, yo, formerly Lefty Lucy off a spoon. What up, Lefty? Long time no see.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner
played it. Yeah.
And nobody bugs about that performance. No one boycotted that.
No,
Jeremy Renner masturbated to an anatomy book to prepare for that role.
Method actors freak me out. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I think that method actors are psycho in their own right. Well, and that breaks a lot of these actors too. A lot of people are actually worried about Evan Peters for portraying this role. He said that he had a really difficult time doing this role.
Well, what's funny is, I got to say this, what's funny is somebody had a meme up. I think I stole the meme. I think I'm planning on putting it into my Discord at some point. But somebody pointed out that they said Ryan Murphy's goal in life is to make sure Evan Peters plays every horrible person that ever existed.
I saw that one.
And so if you look at American Horror Story throughout the years, he's played all sorts of other serial killers and cult leaders and just famous murderers and stuff.
Yeah.
So his psyche must be really destroyed.
I don't know how this man hasn't killed somebody yet, to be completely honest, with all of the roles that he has portrayed. But he did say that this was the hardest one that he has had to do. Which I can imagine. I mean, also this was just pure diving into a messed up mind, man. At least the other ones they weren't comical, but they were different. It wasn't like a full series and
right. I think throughout the cult, American Horror Story cult, Evan Peters plays a different cult leader. Ever so often they have a flashback. They start talking about another cult while they're studying them. And they have him be the guy from Jonestown, and they have him be Charles Manson, and they have him be Joe from Heaven's Gate, and stuff. But you're right, but they're only for short periods of time. They're like a scene thing.
Where this one, he was Dahmer. Sorry, it's like mind blowing to me how well he did in this role.
He did amazing. He deserves an Emmy. I absolutely agree.
He really does. Wow.
Charlene says, "Wow, a couple of sickos are hosting this show tonight. You know it."
Thank you.
We keep it real. Grace says, "Cement preserves the bodies to an extent. The better option is to leave the bodies in a national park to decompose." Yes, national parks, vast area that nobody explores all of.
Nah, man, feed them to the pigs.
Do you have pigs?
So I don't have pigs, but there are pig farms close to me. Maybe I shouldn't have admitted that.
That's why you never trust a man with a pig farm.
No, honest to God. So pigs. So the fun fact about pigs will eat bone. Pigs will eat every part of the body. So you're not finding anything if you feed them, and they can clean a body in like minutes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I learned that from that crime movie. What is it? Snatch. Did you ever see that one, Snatch? Okay, yeah. So that's
No,
what.
I think I learned that from Bones. To be honest with you, I think it
Oh,
was
okay.
Bones
So
that I.
Snatch, there's a famous scene where the crime boss is like, he explains to people why the crime boss has a pig farm,
Has a pig farm.
and he's like, oh, because they'll eat literally anything. He's like, I've thrown bodies in there, and they'll eat the watches off their arms. They'll eat every single
They
thing.
eat every single thing. Like the only way you're gonna find out if there is a body amongst the pigs is if you cut the pigs open, which is another reason why I do not like to eat pork.
Why?
Because you never know, you might be cannibalizing something.
Everything kills to survive. No, because I thought that you didn't, because you believed in the theory that they're de-evolved humans.
No, I don't believe in that theory. I do believe that there have been experiments done on pigs that make them so close to the human, for sure. But also, most of the time when you're eating pork, there's usually live maggots in pork meat. I'm good.
Well, that's why they want you to cook it extra long, I assume, right? That is just so gross.
Yeah, I don't like pork.
Well, Matt Cat says, "Oh, are we going to start talking about how Dahmer was an alien now?"
Do you think that? I don't think Dahmer was an alien. I think that Dahmer was just a fucked up kid who had a fucked up childhood.
Do we have theories as to how he got that way, though? Are the sex scenes hot? There's like no sex scenes in it.
There's no sex scenes. Honestly, it doesn't seem like he was a very sexual person. Now, again, this kind of turns into fiction, but like it didn't seem like he really wanted to have sex. He just wanted to be with somebody.
I personally think that they took right. He didn't want them to go. He didn't want anyone to ever go. I think personally that they didn't show him be sexy with the bodies is because that would have crossed the line of real tastelessness.
For sure. Well, right, and it seemed like he actually was like he had sex with the dead bodies, not necessarily when they were alive. Yeah, so which is awesome.
Azazel the Daywalker says, "I just finished the series today. After every episode, I wanted to take a shower. Yeah, it was really. I found it really hard to binge. Like I had to take a few days off every time I saw a couple of
yeah, it was kind of messing with my psyche, but I think also, like I said, I actually felt empathy for Dahmer. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, now we're up to this portion of it because you brought it up earlier, and so I want to know what. What are you saying? What's going on?
I'm hoping that I'm not the only freak who did feel empathy towards Dahmer, but there were some really emotional parts where it was like, oh my God, this is why he's so fucked up, or oh my God, this is why he is the way he is, or like he's just looking for somebody to love, and I'm sitting here watching the show and I'm like, Lainey, what is wrong with you? How are you showing empathy towards this man? But I was. I was.
I don't want to alienate you and think like, and you have a bad feeling about me right now, but are you insane? Because ultimately, what I really liked about the show is Dahmer was rarely the main character. There were certain long periods of times of following him around, but most of the times they actually had different episodes focusing on different victims, his family, his neighbor. And so he's in every episode, but he's not always the main character. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's so they don't glamorize him and he doesn't become a hero, right?
I don't think he became a hero in my mind. I do think that he became... How do I say this without sounding insane?
You already sound insane, so just go for it.
He became somebody that I wanted to fix. It was like, I want to help you.
You're one of those girls who would write a serial killer after he's captured.
No, I don't think I would.
You're that girl who's sending him money in prison.
No, I don't think I would be that girl, but I don't think I'm that crazy. But no, there were some moments where I was like, I'm actually really feeling for this guy, especially episode 6. Like, I did feel for him. Like, I felt that he really did fall in love with that character or that person. Right. I'm sorry, he's not a character, with that person. And like, if he hadn't, are we spoiling?
Yeah, I mean, just that this is a warning, guys. We're probably going to hit into. We're going to have to talk. We're going to talk spoilers now.
Okay.
And so let's give them like a second to leave the chat.
Okay.
I hate to leave. I hate for anyone to leave this chat. I love you all. I'm having so much fun. Let me read some comments. Give people a chance to head out. Grace says Michael K. Williams had a relapse after being in Lovecraft Country. He said it messed him up. So that's talking about like method actors.
Mm-hmm.
Incognito says, "Hear me out. Joaquin Phoenix as Bundy in a doc. I would love it.
Yeah.
Incognito. I would watch the hell out of it.
Well, I almost feel that he kind of. I want to say that he might not. This might not be the end of this kind of series. Like I think that he might go into more serial killers, and I'm kind of excited for it. Like
I would love it.
Right, we were introduced to Gacy. Like what? Like obviously, yes, they were right in the same timeline, and they did like that whole like when he was getting baptized and the other one was getting the lethal injection. I'm just like, what? Like I didn't know that was. I don't know if it's
it happened on the same day. That's insane. I did not know that was happening.
I didn't know either. And supposedly there was the eclipse, and it was like, oh, that's really interesting.
That's some devil shit.
That's some devil shit right there.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. It's totally nuts. But remember, they don't put it in context, but Gacy had been in prison for a long time. Because it takes them a while to kill you. Mm-hmm. Gacy was an old man by the time they did away with him.
Correct.
And Dahmer was freshly caught. But it is funny how that overlapped, right?
Mm-hmm. It was, but I don't think that this is the end of these kind of stories. I think that he's going to dive into more of this.
I'm so into it. Here's the thing. I don't, for Evan Peters' sake, for his own mind, I hope he does not continue this. I hope they get totally different actors for every season.
I couldn't see him play. He's Dahmer to me. Like I wouldn't want to see him as another serial killer. Maybe if they were to do Gacy, maybe they bring him back as Dahmer. But no, I agree with you. I think that this was it, and he should be done. For sure.
Gacy and Bundy were manipulators and narcissists, as Azazel the Daywalker. Incognito Burrito says that dude played. That dude played the Joker. I would love to see him as Bundy. Not a bad idea. How about puree into a liquid and repurpose it into our fertilizer? The thing is that it will reek. It will work as good fertilizer, but it will smell.
Oh God!
And it will attract people. Remember, we learned a lot about smells, didn't we, from the series?
We did learn a lot about smell. Well, I already knew that though from working in a hospital. That decomposing flesh does not. It does have a distinct smell. Pigs eat anything. Yes, they do. Remember Hannibal 3?
Yeah. Jesus, that's a lot of water. Oh, your water bottle. You have the mothership of water bottles. Matt says I love Snatch. Oh, I must be really behind on the chat, guys. I'm sorry that it's so hard. It's just so many comments. Susan on the maggots. I didn't understand that from Logie. Oh, you guys, I was being sarcastic about Dahmer being an alien. Well, yeah, it's possible, Matt.
It is possible, Matt. You know what? Or a changeling. Yes, Dahmer was a closeted gay man with a lot of sexual repressions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he had a lot of stuff going on, but like, I don't know.
So you had no empathy towards him whatsoever.
Zero.
Really?
Yeah, and because a lot of these other serial killer stories, you actually at least see the kids or they let you know this kid was terribly abused, and that's not an excuse. I am not saying
it's not an excuse. But he wasn't terribly abused, but I think that there was definitely that he had it wasn't abuse so much, but
I think he just was born wrong, and I don't have sympathy for that. Okay, so we're in spoiler territory. We're talking spoilers right now, right? We've given people enough. Okay. So what do you think of this part in the episode that was about his father? I believe it's called Lionel.
Yeah.
I think it's like the second to last episode. His father says, "I may have done this to my son," and they're like, "Why?" And then he's like, "When I was a kid, I had fantasies about killing people, but I never carried them out. And then he told about the story how he tried to hypnotize a girl because he wanted to have her do whatever he wanted. And I was like, what the? And then they don't follow through on that. I think maybe we never got answers in the real world. But what is that? What are they trying to suggest to us?
That definitely threw me for a loop. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't think it's normal to fantasize about killing people, nor is it normal to hypnotize a girl and try to get her to do whatever you want her to do. But is it a biological thing or a genetic thing where, like, I don't know. Also, I don't know. I think his dad was insane.
Yeah, who does taxidermy with your son for roadkill? Right. It's bizarre.
Right, it is bizarre. And I think that he did grow up with two very dysfunctional parents who were both very mentally ill. And then divorce never helps. And the mom was taking pills while pregnant with him. I don't know, man. I think he was definitely born that way, but I think that he was pushed into, like, he did try to oppress those feelings, and he did try to not kill. So, like, he knew that he was wrong in doing it. So what made him snap, but not Lionel? Was it his upbringing? Was it the parents' upbringing and him learning how to do taxidermy and then butchering and?
So, and a lot of people are going to think the following comment is lame.
Yeah.
So obviously he was on a road to become this, right?
Yeah.
But his first two murders were quote unquote accidents.
Correct.
Now, obviously, the first one he kills somebody with a barbell, hits him over the head because he gets angry at him. So that's not a real accident, but you know what I mean. And then the second one, he was so out of it on drugs that the next morning he woke up and realized he killed the guy in his sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if those events in his life had never happened, if he would be like his father and live out his days normal.
No, because I think he would have snapped eventually. I think that no matter what, he was destined to snap and kill somebody. And if it hadn't been, he also mentioned that he wanted to get caught. Like, there were moments where he wanted to, he mentioned it quite a few times. I wanted to get caught. I wish that they had caught me, because he knew that he wouldn't have done it anymore.
In his final catch, it was clear he wanted to get caught, because instead of running or trying to avoid things, he was just smoking a cigarette. He just realized it was game over.
Yep, game over. Kudos for that guy, by the way, for getting away. Hell yeah.
Oh my God, I was rooting for him so much. I was like, come on, man, get out.
I was rooting for every single one of them.
Such a tense scene, right?
Oh, such a tense scene. And you're just sitting there and you're watching. And honest to God, I was like, where is this leading up to? Because when he stopped in front of those cops, I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna kill? Like,
right.
How fucked up is that for us to just sit there and be like, oh my God, they're gonna kill him?
Well, it's very possible, right?
It's very possible. And then they bring him back, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
that's insane. Trust me, if that was a white woman, they would never have brought him back.
They would have never. If it was a white man, they would have never brought him. They would have never brought him back. They would have believed him. And that Niecy Nash, by the way, phenomenal performance. I'm used to her being a comedian, and like I don't like her. She's not one of my favorite actors. Clutch. So good. So good. She was believable. She was great. She really was great. She actually might have been my favorite part of this show, other than Dahmer.
All right. No, she was wonderful. I think they all were. Logie Bear says, I think that wanting to find empathy or a reason for what he did is because it's so unthinkable. We want something to explain it. Yeah.
I don't know. I felt that he was written to have some empathetic feeling. In my personal opinion, I do think that he was going for some empathy in this story.
I am so not sympathetic toward him that like it makes me reevaluate any thoughts about the death penalty. And I was thinking, why can't we have torturous deaths again? We should just have like.
Listen, I'm not sitting here and saying that he did not deserve what he got, and I'm not sitting here and saying that actually his death scene, I was empathetic for him in that death scene too. And I think because he did. When he first went to prison, I hated him. I was like, you piece of shit. You are literally thriving off of the fact that these people are writing you letters and sending you money, and you're becoming infamous. And I hated it. And that's probably really what happened. And it is what happened. And it was disgusting. But when he died, and he just laid there and let it happen, I was like, I felt immense empathy.
No, I was rooting for the guy who beat him to death.
I wasn't, because I
was like, get him, get him.
He had just been like he. I don't think that he would have ever changed. Like, you know, there was no rehabilitation for him, but he did. He accepted God into his life. He got baptized. He was trying to do the right thing. Maybe. So, go ahead.
Oh no, do you finish your thoughts? I'm sorry.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, this guy just went through all of this, and now this God-fearing man is like, I'm the wrath of God and I'm gonna kill you. Like, what? Like, wait, what?
So I'm just saying he should not be exempt from consequences. I understand that. And I'm a Christian. I believe God did forgive him. I hope God forgave him. However, here on earth, there are consequences to the things we do. And he angered society so much that an ultra-religious man murdered him at the first chance he got.
But this ultra-religious man also was a prisoner. So I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all.
So you don't forgive the black guy who got worked out.
No, now
but you forgive the pretty boy white serial killer. Okay.
Did you actually?
I'm just saying, why do you have sympathy for him, but
I'm not sitting here and saying that I didn't have sympathy, and I'm not sitting here and saying that he didn't deserve what he got. I absolutely believe that he got what he deserved. Yes, he should have been murdered, 100%. But it doesn't mean that I felt empathy for the black guy too, as he's killing the guy. But I'm sitting there like, you just like, I don't know, maybe were you up for parole? Were you able to possibly get parole? You just ruined your fucking chances over this puny
He doesn't
white
care.
guy.
He wants to be right by God. He wants to be right by God.
He was definitely righteous, wasn't he? He even said it himself. I'm a vessel of God, and he wants me to kill you. So good on him, you know? Do you, baby Bill?
I love that episode is called God of Mercy, God of Vengeance. And so you see the two sides of God. Yeah, absolutely. Because the priest you could tell the priest didn't want to work with Dahmer. When Dahmer came to him, you could tell how annoyed the priest was.
Oh, yeah, he didn't want to work with him, absolutely.
Even the priest didn't want to give him salvation. He found it, though, right? But also, you got to remember that, he incurred the wrath of another type of religious person. As Hazel says, Ted Bundy would have easily gotten you with that good Samaritan attitude. Yeah.
Ted Bundy would have he probably would
law
have
school.
Me. It's fine. I probably would have been one of his victims. Listen, I know that I sound crazy, and I probably, in real life...
You know what you sound like right now? You sound egotistical. You're like, I would have totally been one of his victims. Ted Bundy couldn't resist this ass.
That's not what I meant at all. Oh my God, you are being nasty tonight.
Okay. I'm playing, yo. I'm playing. You don't.
No, it's fine. I see you.
Yo, Logie Bear says it wouldn't surprise me if Joaquin Phoenix already had a stash of skulls in his closet.
That man's nuts.
He's
weird and crazy, and him and Shia LaBeouf. I wouldn't be surprised if they were serial killers.
Oh shit, Shia LaBeouf, definitely. He has body count. Matt says no, it's not. You guys stop it. Aliens and changelings are not real. I think Matt is so against this idea because it scares him. The truth scares him.
Matt is scared of the truth, 100%. Yes, rest in peace, Coolio.
Wait, Coolio. What? Did Coolio pass?
Wait, what?
Let me see. I gotta check Twitter. I'm gonna check Twitter right now. Did Coolio pass away just now?
No.
Hashtag Coolio. Yeah, he's dead at 59.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Rip
Wow.
Coolio.
Well, rest in peace. That's sad. That's super sad.
Yeah. I mean, 59 is young.
Too young.
Yeah, no, absolutely too young. I know off topic. Sorry, guys. Sorry to be off topic. But it's Coolio. I know Hannah's upset.
I'm upset.
Some killers are born that way, and some are made in that because of their parents / school made them that way. Or yeah,
I don't know. I think I'm going to disagree with that. I think that killers are born to be killers, and
so here's what I'm saying: a killer like that, I believe, has to be born that way.
Yeah,
that's just crazy.
Somebody can be pushed to kill 100%, but I do think that like a serial killer, they are.
Here's the deal: I may talk a big game when I'm angry at people, but in real truth, I would never bang a severed head. That takes a special type of crazy. You have to be born that way. But a normal killer, I'd say an average killer, the killers that fill our jails right now, I think for the most part are not born that way. They are made.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that.
A harsh life,
I can agree with that 100%.
As April says, imagine not talking to another human being for 2 to 3 months, combined with the fact he already had. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's enough to make you the killer, but that certainly didn't help things. That you know what I mean.
Wait, but is he talking about?
When Dahmer was left alone, like as soon as his mom got the divorce, she left him.
Oh yeah.
And his dad had already left with his girlfriend, and so he was left literally all summer. It was like 3 months completely alone, and he had no friends. And of course, it was during this, and that's the funny thing. It was during this period that he did his first kill. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if he wasn't left alone, would he have ever done that kill?
I don't know, because I do feel that I don't want to say he was remorseful, because I don't think he was. Like, I don't think that there was remorse in his kills, but he knew that he shouldn't have done it. So maybe he wouldn't have if he hadn't been left alone.
And I ain't never killed a man, so I can't say what I would or wouldn't do, because even I don't know what if I wouldn't do. But I'm saying that I think the fact that he covered it up like a pro, his first kill, shows that he had no sympathy, because he was more scared of getting caught than actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But was he afraid to get caught? Because like that's another thing too, is that he's like, I wanted to get caught. I don't know.
I think eventually he wanted to get caught, but I think in the beginning he was having a merry old time.
Okay.
Trust me, the guilt eventually leads up to you on anything. I don't know what kind of grime you've done in your life, but sometimes you're doing something grimy, and after a while you go, you know what? This is messed up. I need to stop.
I don't do things grimy, thank you.
Okay. That wasn't a comment about you. That was a comment about humanity.
Oh, okay.
I believe all humans have their secret crime. We all have our secrets. Matt says, now this is a very interesting conversation. The whole nurture versus nature, absolutely thing. Yeah, absolutely. Who the F really does taxidermy with his son, though? Shouldn't he went to a strip club? And yeah, Azazel, I agree.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, oh, it was a hobby. Whose hobby is that? What kind of psycho does that?
Right, and then the fact that he kept doing it into his adult, like the whole scene where he wanted to take the pig home. If I had been that teacher, I would have been like, kid, you are going to the freaking no.
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what year that took place. It was probably the 80s or something.
It was totally the 80s, but still, like,
did they call therapy like school? Did they have school therapists back then?
I don't think that they didn't back then. But like the teacher said, yes, take the pig home, no problem. He didn't even question it. There was I think he was kind of weirded out a little bit, but then he's like, no problem, take the pig home. What the
So here's what I'm saying. Just generally cutting up animals as a kid is not necessarily evil. Because remember, there were countless kids who grow up on farms and they're taught to kill animals all the time. They know that there's a difference between killing a cow and killing a human, right? And
So you
like,
don't think that it's weird that his father was performing taxidermy with him?
no, I think here's what it is. I think he was born crazy, and that it did not help. But that's another thing that I got to talk about. The dad was the dad a pussy serial killer who just was too scared to let his true killer ways out.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe it's because Dahmer drank so much that he was able to release this the darker side that's within him.
Well, Lionel didn't seem surprised at all. Like when he
did not seem like a dad should take it when somebody says, "We arrested your son for attempted murder, and we went into his thing. We found skulls and pots, a human heart and genitals in a Ziploc bag in his fridge, a head in his fridge." Like when they're listing the things off, I would have literally been like, "You have the wrong child. You killed the wrong man. That's not my kid.
100%, not my kid." Like I don't think that I wouldn't have even gone down to the police station at that point. I would have been like, "You're off your rockers. It's not my child.
You're tripping, man. This is nuts. This is some."
And Lionel just like put his head down and was like, "Okay, they finally got him." Like,
because he knew it was possible.
And I think that he did know, and I think that the grandma knew too. I don't think that they were stupid to the fact that there was something evil going on in the house and with this man.
Well, the mom actually says at one point, she says that my son was never right. She actually says that.
But none of them were. The mom wasn't right. The
mom was nuts. The mom was nuts.
So I did try to do some research on the little brother. There's like nothing.
Whatever happened to that dude?
Don't know.
You notice they were respectful of him. They kept him completely off camera.
We
only saw him as a kid.
Which I think is because he has such a private life. Like he's really not on the internet at all.
Well, he needs to get on the internet so we can harass him. I'm kidding.
You are terrible.
Matt says Snapped, another true reenactment show, true crime. Yes, I love Snapped, and I don't know if it's still in the air, but on the ID channel, I used to love Who the Bleep Did I Marry? Did you ever see that one?
Mm-mm.
It's all people who marry somebody, and then after they get married, they realize the person's a criminal or does something crazy, like they've murdered people or they live under a fake name, that kind of shit.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, it's great. The ID channel is all about spousal murder. That's literally what the entire channel is fueled on.
Okay.
Reboot TV greetings. What up?
Hello. She killed her part. She did. Yeah, the mom was really good.
Oh, she was really
honestly, good. I thought that they
no pun intended.
I thought all the actors did a really good job. I don't know if I could have portrayed any of these characters.
Well, you know who I thought really just didn't do a great job, but she had nothing to work with? Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald plays the stepmom.
She does.
And they get an actor as big as Molly Ringwald. She actually had one of the top billings up there. You know what I'm saying? They named the 4 actors, and she's one of the 4 that they're like, "Yo, we've got."
I would like to see her do the mom, not the stepmom.
Right. And she basically did nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not her fault. She had no lines to work with. Matt says, "I'm with Mantis. F that dude. He chose violence, and he deserved violence." Yeah.
I'm not sitting here and saying that he didn't deserve what he got. I'm just saying that there were some parts where I felt empathy for him. I was like, okay,
it concerns me that you said, "Oh, I feel like he was someone I want to save." I was like, "You want to save?" That means you could easily fall for that serial killer thing, right? Am I right?
I'm just saying, if a serial killer came to me, I probably would be a victim.
No, you'd be the woman who helps him get out of jail.
No, that's not the case at all. No.
You'd be Ted Bundy's wife.
No, I have no desire to pen pal a serial killer in jail, nor send money to them. No desire whatsoever.
You're like, oh, poor, look at this guy. Also, Night Stalker. The Night Stalker had a lot of lady friends outside who were trying to get him.
I don't know why. Why do I agree to do this show with you?
It's because you want to confess to all your twisted ways, and this is the best way to do it. This is some psychological stuff going on with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Matt says, yeah, God can forgive him because he passes out forgiveness like Halloween candy. But as a man, I say I'm all out of forgiveness. I'm unfortunately I fall into the category that although God commands me to forgive, it's hard to forgive, and I don't give it out easily. But also, God does tell us in the Bible, and I'm not trying to get all religious with you guys, that God will allow man to govern themselves as they see fit on earth. Meaning that we can hand out death penalty if we want to. That is my Christian belief. But
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have gotten the death penalty, but the state that he was in didn't do that. They weren't a death penalty state.
Give Caesar what is Caesar's. But I would say that I'm quoting Jesus, by the way. But is it possible they didn't give him the death penalty because he wanted it? They do the opposite of what somebody wants.
No, there was no death penalty in that state.
Personally, and I know this is horrible, I think it's fine to put them inside, like people like Dahmer, inside a machine that constantly sprinkles honey on you, and they just release fire ants. An endless wave of fire ants just eat you alive over the course of days, I don't know, weeks. And I would be totally 100% comfortable if that's how we executed serial killers and people who hurt children. I would be totally cool with that.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Gray says, yeah, he's dead. Speaking of Coolio, if TMZ says he's dead, he's dead. Yeah. What up? Timmy is awesome. Welcome in.
Hi, Timmy.
He died of cardiac arrest.
That's so sad. That really is sad.
So sad. He said it was a compulsion. Cake. Right. He had basically what it is on a diet, and pleasure outweighed the guilt. Yeah. So I don't know why anyone would have fun killing. But I understand. I think we all understand the urge of getting so angry that we're like, for a split second, like, I want to smash this fool's head in. But then your humanity clicks in, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think his just never clicked on. But he must have had fun cutting these people up. But that's just weird. Since when is that fun?
We're diving into the mind of a psycho. I don't know. I don't think it would be fun either. But I guess there was something that, I mean, I guess when you are dissecting animals, people are animals too, right?
He was born in 1960, so it was probably around 77, 78. Okay.
Yeah, he's the same age as my dad. That's scary to think.
You really feel for this son of a bitch, don't you?
What?
You really feel for this son of a bitch, Dahmer.
I don't, but I do. Like, yes, fuck you.
Rebuke says it is different. There is a difference between butchering an animal for food or as a formhead versus butchering an animal for pleasure. Absolutely. I mean, I think there is. And here's what I'm saying. Like, here's what it is. I don't understand why his father had him finding roadkill. They'd stop on the side of the road and pick up roadkill and take it to the garage and cut it open and play with its guts. That is nuts to me. But remember, there are countless kids who grow up in farmlands who are taught to butcher animals when they're kids, and they don't go become killers.
Well, right. And also, like, people do taxidermy. Like, it is a thing. It's not an abnormal thing for people to be taxidermists. So, like,
become obsessed with it is like weird. Is I think the weird part, right? Because I'm saying, well, think about it. In the ancient days, in also like Native Americans or ancient men, kids were taught to hunt. You're a kid with a bow and arrow. You're taught to kill your animals, right?
No, I mean, I totally get it. I'm just saying from a listen, do I think it was weird? Yes. But, like, I don't know. How do you become a veterinarian? Oh, it's like, oh, I really like animals. Let me do this. How do you become a taxidermist? Oh,
Is Hannah still in the chat?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because I wanted to ask Hannah.
How do you become a mortician?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, Hannah Banana, frequent viewer and friend of ours, we love her, is studying to be a mortician, and I'm wondering what makes one want to become a mortician.
I wanted to become a mortician. 100%. I thought it was fascinating.
Then you can answer this. What made you want to be a mortician?
I think that, well, it was the fact that I wanted to be a surgeon, but my hands aren't steady enough to cut through living flesh. So I decided that I swear.
No, but why would you want to mess with dead bodies? This is what I'm trying to understand.
Because how fascinating is it to find out why they died?
I'm not very fascinated at all by that.
It fascinates me. So I've always loved science, and I think that,
my God, you might have the serial killer gene in you.
I'm not a serial killer. Oh my God.
Well, we don't know what you do with your days.
I work.
What? Because like I said, getting those bodies is a lot of work.
Oh my God.
Like, you know how Dahmer made his neighbor a sandwich? Which is a weird thing to offer to somebody.
That was human meat.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is he had to find the right part of the body to cut up and to shred and to make it look like pulled pork.
Okay, you can just.
That's a lot of work. That's too much work. I
think that was the scene that, like, I thought I was going to throw up during that scene.
Azazel said no, they would go out looking for roadkill and steal the neighbors' pets and skin them. And that's the thing. I wonder how much they're covering up for the dad. I wonder if the dad, he said himself he had sick fantasies. I wonder if he did do abnormal stuff with his son and they just never admitted to it. As you know, Dahmer loved his dad, and he probably would have covered for his dad. He probably would have never said, my dad made me cut up a dog.
No, I don't think that he would have either. I think that there was a sick relationship between him and his father. It was off, like, the entire relationship between the two of them was off-putting, even in the show. Also, his brother changed his name for obvious reasons. Yeah, that makes sense. He probably went to Flint. Maybe he's a Flint now.
Yeah, so I hate to sound like, I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like this, but I didn't have a father growing up, so I don't know what an abnormal father relationship is. Like, in my world, like, if you're not beaten or raped by your father, then that must be a good relationship. But clearly there's other horrible things fathers can do to their poor kids' minds, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is odd cutting up animals. That's just, so no one has to teach me not to do that with any future children I have, because it's just so odd. I would never think.
Well, I think that it would have been weirder for me if it wasn't roadkill. Like, as you're all saying, is that, like, I don't know, did they steal their neighbors' pets and decide to kill them, skin them, and cut them up, or was it actual roadkill? If it wasn't just roadkill and they were torturing these animals, then that is a huge red flag for both of them. Honestly, also, maybe Lionel is a murderer? Who knows? Maybe he does have a body count. Like, it's very possible, right?
Yeah, maybe he did. Yeah, you're right. Maybe he did, and maybe he did pass it on to his son.
Yeah, maybe he did pass it on to his son, 100%. Maybe he's one of those serial killers that was never caught.
It's funny. Logie Bear says, I think we should put them on a merry-go-round and spin them until they die. I love that. So a scientist did design a murder roller coaster. It was never built, but this was his idea for death penalty. What it was is it's a roller coaster with an increasing number of loops. So as the blood is rushing to your head, you feel euphoria before your neck is eventually snapped by the coaster. So you'd put the death penalty person on the coaster. They'd feel good, be killed by the end of the ride, and then when it comes back in, you'd have a corpse, right? And so this guy designed it, and that was his idea for a humane way of, like, killing people. But today, no one has ever built the coaster. So that's very similar to what Logie Bear is talking about.
I just don't understand the whole like. Listen, these people don't deserve to go out in a nice way. Why are we being so humane with them?
That's what I'm saying. Watching this
Like,
makes me wonder, why do we have to be so humane with the death when usually people who get the death penalty, it's not like a single case of murder. It's not like he's
no.
like, oh, you know, I caught my girlfriend cheating on me and I killed, and we're like, well, that's really messed up and that's horrible that you did that. It's not those guys. It's a guy who's like, I killed my girlfriend and our kids, or I killed several people. It's those guys, and so I don't understand why we're obsessed with being merciful to them.
We shouldn't be. Like, they deserve to die awful, horrible deaths. People, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Azazel.
I do too, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People who hurt children and these people like Dahmer, these serial killers,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Dahmer deserved what he got. He totally deserved death. He totally deserved to get his head bashed in. And honestly, I'm happy that he didn't get the death penalty, because he did get what he deserved. But yes, there were empathetic moments that I had for him.
Logie says we're all, Lainey, you got to talk to your therapist, homegirl. Logie says we've all had those angry moments. I remember this tiny human that wore a children's headband when he did martial arts. So yeah, I know what he's talking about. There was a little idiot we used to do kung fu with. That was a little inside joke. Ziety, love the show. Yes, I loved it as well. I think it's a masterpiece, actually. Speaking of that,
so do I.
I gotta say, I've never cried so hard at a horror show.
I bawled my eyes out. That's not funny. But
she really wants to say Daddy Dahmer, says Azazel the Daywalker. Rebuke says farmhand, sorry, dang voice. Oh, right. Remember when it says forum hand? He meant farmhand. Yes.
Yeah, I was very confused.
I'm telling you, plenty of kids learn to kill animals for food and how to clean them and stuff. And I don't know if it's that they're taught respect. Like, you know how like Native Americans, when they would kill for the things, they then would say a prayer to the spirits and be like, thank you for giving your life. Maybe Dahmer wasn't taught that kind of respect, but I still don't think that's it. I think a kid.
No, I think he had it in him from the beginning. Also, I don't think most normal children are like, I want to skin an animal or taxiderm. I don't know, but that's the thing. Like, we do have taxidermists in our communities, so like
those
are not crazy.
Right, exactly, absolutely. And for those of you who are wondering if your children could be serial killers, you're looking for the McDonald's the McDonald's triad. And so here's what it is: setting fires as a kid, cruelty to animals, especially cutting them up and killing them, and then bedwetting far beyond the age that's appropriate. Serial killers tend to have those three things going on in their childhood. So
I had to think if I did any of those things.
I'm gonna say I peed the bed as an adult once, but it was alcohol related.
Yep.
I don't think his father thought that it would turn into a human thing, because I've watched my parents gut a fish, but the thought that to gut a human being never crossed my mind. Exactly, you don't think
exactly, but I also think too, like, you could see that there was pleasure when he was gutting these animals, and I think that was the moment where I would have been like, there's something messed up in my child's head. Like, I think that a normal kid who wants to maybe become a scientist and turn into a taxidermist or whatever is going to be like, it's fascinating, but it's not like, I don't know, he would.
Angel H says, I once tried to experiment with a kitten. I'm scared to continue reading. And what would happen if I left it in rice for long? Easy to say, my mother wasn't happy and had to dump the container of rice. You put a kitten in a container of rice. Would you like to give us
Angel, honey, are you a serial killer?
Yeah, are you admitting to drowning a kitten in rice?
In rice.
Mantis, you had the guy that told you about the space whales, though. Does that count at all as a father figure? I mean, I did end up being like an alien, like a guy who like he's really into aliens, and I wanted to be a ufologist and stuff. So I mean, obviously that had some impact on my life, right?
It had a lot of impact on your life for sure.
Probably did. These damn space whales.
I mean, yeah, I easy to say my mother wasn't happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, Logie, why did you have to bring up that Hobbit, Shaolin? Yeah, I started tearing up when he killed the dead guy. He seemed so innocent and pure. The deaf guy. Yes, that's an all. That was a tough episode to get through, and it was like
honestly. So Mantis had told me about this episode before I had gotten to watch it, and I was like, "No, there's no way." Like this grown ass man cried over this episode, and then I watched it, and I'm not even kidding you. I was seconds into this episode and I was bawling my eyes out, and I was like, it was powerful and it was sad, and I think that was an empathetic moment for me as well, because like it was the one time where you thought maybe he's gonna break this cycle, maybe he'll be okay, maybe he actually is gonna find love, and you knew it wasn't gonna happen because we know the story of Dahmer. But I wanted it to happen because
obviously, yeah, you don't want anything to happen.
Right, and oh my God, and that actor was phenomenal too. Like I fell in love with Tony. Like he was just such like this bright light in this world, and to see that get extinguished by this piece of shit was like,
because he was a really great. At least the show portrayed him as a really great guy. A blessing on everybody he taught.
Like I'm actually tearing up just thinking about that episode right now. Like that was probably the most powerful episode in this entire series. Was that one?
Yeah. So Logie Bear says I set fires as a all the time as a kid. Well, you got to hit all three of them on the.
I mean, I tortured slugs. I still don't think I'm a serial killer though.
Slug, fuck slug. Angel H says, same here, Logie. Logie says, if butchering an animal gives you an election.
Nice, Logie.
You might be a serial killer, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did mummify a kitten through rice. Wait.
Angel, was the kitten... Baby girl, was the kitten alive?
Was the kitten alive when you put it in the rice and not alive when you removed it from the rice? That's what I want.
Because now
he's trying to say he ate fried cat with rice. It's a Chinese food joke. Let me rephrase that. Yes, I did mummify a kitten through rice. And I set a bed and a couch on fire as when I was younger. Okay.
Angel, honey, I love you, but I will never meet you.
Angel, well, wow, we're getting very personal. I did not foresee this when I was planning the stream. Matt says, okay, off topic. When are you guys becoming Scientologists? That seems right up your alley. Now, I am not against any religion. People should have any religion they want, but that's one of the most dangerous UFO cults you could be a part of. So I will not.
I would never. Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is though, is that a lot of people say that I lean toward Scientology. I don't think I lean toward. No, I don't think I'm a Scientologist at all.
No, I don't think. From what I understand, you don't have any of the beliefs that I know them to have. So. How do you guys feel about the families of the victims saying that this shouldn't have been made, and that's making them relive the trauma? I have to say that, like, we talked about this earlier, but I'm willing to talk about it again because I think it is important about aspect of this that they have told the story of Dahmer so many times in other fiction and a movie and a miniseries and like documentaries and true crime. All these podcasts, all these YouTube channels have all these videos about, like, I know all these, like, some of these great moments of Dahmer because of YouTube.
Right.
and they're all profiting off of it.
Right.
And the thing is, we have to be able to talk about things. And I feel really bad for these people. I don't want them to be re-traumatized. But the same right, we have the right to know about what happened.
We do. No, I completely agree with you on that. I do think that these families, like, it sucks that they're reliving the trauma. But like you said, it's 30 years that this has happened. You know, I think that we needed this story, to be completely honest. I think that they're more upset because it's such a big platform. And maybe such a big actor and such a big producer, but at the same time, like this was gold. It was a beautiful show.
It was an absolutely beautiful show. It was hard. I've cried during multiple episodes, particularly the back end. There were multiple ones that had me upset. There's ones that talk about the community and how it affects blacks. And when Jesse Jackson was in there, that upset me. That one upset me. You know, the whole thing with Tony really upset me. The Tony episode.
That one was the worst episode to get through. It really was.
The episode called Boogeyman, about how Dahmer hunts the families of his victims, was tough. And I gotta say, I actually felt kind of sick joy at the final episode when he gets his.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think I would say it was sick joy. It was like, yes, like we knew it was going to happen because that's exactly how it happened in real life. And that was actually the most, and I actually have to give him like a hats off to this moment. It was the most gruesome moment in the show.
It was the only clear death that they allowed us to see.
Yes, it was. It was the only clear death. It was the only like horror, like blood, guts, and gore, basically, that we saw in this show. And it was beautiful because it was like, it was paying homage to all of these victims and saying, we're not going to show you how they died and we're going to respect them, but fuck you, Dahmer.
Right. And I have to say that well said. And I got to say, I pulled a Shia LaBeouf in that scene. I did the public, and this was instinct. I started clapping when it was happening.
I did too. I clapped. Yep.
Okay, so there is humanity in you. And you're not just a serial killer groupie.
I'm not a freaking groupie. I'm just sitting here and saying that I do think that he wrote him for people to have a little bit of empathy. And maybe it will be mostly women, unfortunately, who have empathy towards him. But there were moments where it was like, you could see that he there were moments where you felt like he wanted to be better, that he wanted to not do the things that he was doing. And there were moments where you were like, wow, you son of a bitch, you're actually kind of endearing. But that also made you more angsty for him to get what he deserved.
Right.
And I do think that they meant to write him that way. I do.
I feel you. I'm sorry if it made you feel weird.
No, I don't feel weird at all.
Yeah. Shaolin says he said F slugs. Ha ha ha. And then he says, you two have awoken something within the stream. What have you done?
What did we do? I'm confused. I torture slugs too. I would crack their shells. Well, those are.
Wouldn't everybody? Unfortunately, I did it. Well, when my older sister told me about the salt thing, and when I was a kid, I didn't believe her. Like, that's not true. And she's like, I'm telling you, try it. And I went, I experimented.
So we would salt them, and then we used to play, what's that game?
Eat the salty slug. Sorry.
I wouldn't eat a slug. I do actually eat snails though. Escargot is beautiful. It's a great time. No, not cricket. It's got the mallets, and you have to put your balls through the, what is that freaking called? Croquet.
Croquet.
Croquet. Thank you. And we used to
with the mallets.
Yeah, with the mallets. We would take the mallets and we would salt the slugs and then smash them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Angel H says yes. I left the kitten alive while in the rice. The couch was empty, and so was the bed. Oh, Angel, you're jumping stories. You didn't tell. How was the kid okay after? That's what I want to know. But Lainey, I don't do it anymore. I promise I've changed. It wasn't sick joy. It was justice. Thank you, Matt. I agree.
I said that. Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. You have to put your balls through the what? We got people in here admitting some sketchy shit, and Lainey's asking, awaken what? No, I knew exactly what Shallow was talking about. People were like, oh, I used to kill kittens all the time when I was young. What? And we're like, and I had no idea that this is possibly the direction that this stream could go in.
I didn't think it was gonna go this way, but you know what? It's okay. No, the kitten was no more. Oh my God, Angel, listen, I
Thank you for sharing. That is unfortunately all the time we have for tonight. It is time. It is time we have to wrap up Rogue Planet. I've had so much fun. Thank you for talking to us and sharing your serial killer stories, all of you. Lainey, do you have any final shout outs or any final thoughts on this series before we head out?
Watch it, guys. I highly suggest it. And in all honesty, if you don't want to watch the entire series, you got to watch episode 6 and of course the ending.
Yeah, I would say watch the whole thing.
I mean, of course. But
yeah, it's definitely. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's a masterpiece. I give it.
It was a masterpiece. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure.
My dad set his neighbor's backyard on fire. I'm sure he had a good reason. I'm sure that guy had it coming. Escargot. That's what it's called. Escargot. When you eat the slugs. My friend
Snails.
Wow, Loki was a pyro. He's just burning away. I've changed to change. Angel, we believe you.
We do believe you.
But anyway, I thought it was amazing. Lainey, where can they find you?
Here, usually every Monday. This is a rare occasion. But every Monday, guys, please make sure to check myself and Mantis out for Mothership Mondays. It is my favorite day.
Right here, 6 p.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern-ish. We go on and we talk about aliens, the supernatural, the occult, all sorts of paranormal stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah. And this is our season, guys, so we're going to be bringing you some really good stuff.
So Matt wants to know what's the next subject for Monday. Next coming up Monday, we're going to be doing the reptilians. Mm-hmm. That's the reptile, shape-changing reptile folk.
Correct. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
Yes, but anyway, guys, always had a good one. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, keep tuning into Voice of the Fat Mantis, and check us out on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mothership Monday, Rogue Planet Wednesdays. I'm headed out right now. I believe that the Hold Up TV here on YouTube will be putting on Dope Dynamics after this. It should be going on any minute. So please check that. It's a good time. It's a good hangout stream. I would love it if you guys did it. And then also coming in October, at least on Twitch, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on YouTube. I will for every day of the 31 days of October, I will do a horror/Halloween themed stream. So we're getting a lot of streaming out of the Mantis. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll figure it out. It's going to be gross. Matt says, oh no, not the reptilians, but we've got to go. You guys have a beautiful night. Till next time, ciao for now.
Bye, guys.
And go see Dahmer. Check out Dahmer.